Alright, welcome to the Ellis Mowers channel. We're working on today a Weed Eater 16.5 Briggs 42-inch cut 6-speed lawn tractor. Pulled this one out because I am waiting on parts for three different mowers, and as I'm waiting on those parts, this is the next in line, so we're going to roll on with it. At least see if we can get this thing running to start us off today. So it has, like I mentioned, 16.5 horse Briggs engine. This is basically a Craftsman clone made by AYP, who also makes Husqvarna products in this era of time. It is a 98 model. There's your type 9801. Looks like 22 is my number there. This is a Briggs 310707. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. 310707 engine. Again, 16.5 horse high performance Briggs. I think we got a myriad of problems with this. Nothing detrimental by any means. The seat's about to fall off of it. That's why it's got the seat cover on it. I'll have to find either another seat or glue the seat back on or something along those lines. No battery in it. What I'm planning to do is put a battery in it. Here's your model number of the mower. It's not a 917 like a Craftsman, but it's made by the same people. It's just in a different disguise. WE16542. The mower itself was made 2/6 of 98, so February 6th of 1998 is when this rolled off the assembly line. Making it, I'm about 22 years old. So plan is here. Check the oil in it. It's got a decent amount of oil in it, and the oil isn't contaminated with gas, so that's a good thing. It's got enough oil to start it. It's just below the ad there. I'll double check it before I do. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a battery in it and see if this thing will run. Hopefully it will. If it's running, that's about half the battle. It's a 42-inch cut. The deck looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's just got some surface rust on it. No bad brackets or anything like that from what I can tell. Yeah, like I said, just some surface rust on it, so that's no big deal. It's got a mulching cover on it for the moment. I might buy a discharge chute for it, just depending on how I feel about the mower. I might just leave it as a mulcher. What I could tell is that the gas smells old that was in it. There is no gas in it at this point. Hopefully it's not because the gas tank leaked. It's got some residue on the bottom. We'll clean it out once we know that it'll run. Yeah, it smells like old gas, but this does have the solenoid on it, the fuel solenoid. Cuts it off when the oil gets low and stuff like that. And when you shut off the mower, to prevent it from backfiring, the anti-backfire solenoid, that's what I'm trying to say. Deck belt is pretty cracked. It'll need a deck belt on it. I can feel it. So let me grab a battery and see if we have some cranking action on this thing. Okay, so I got a new battery in it. I had a different battery. Let me show y'all. I had a different battery. It's a little weak for whatever reason, so I threw it on the charger. I'm going to try this new battery out here. Use this starting fluid. I didn't realize I had this starting fluid left. It will turn over, so let's see if it'll fire. Yeah, that'll be enough. Hopefully it doesn't backfire like crazy like that other Craftsman did that I had. Okay, that's a good sign. What I might try doing next is throwing some gas in it, just see if it'll run on just some gas and stay running. If it does, then we will see if it drives around, and if it drives around, then we'll proceed with fixing the steering, and I gotta put some tire tubes and stuff in it, because this tire is in bad shape, or either got a bad, yeah, it's in pretty bad shape on the back. I think it's not sealing the bead, so it'll definitely need a tube in it. And the right rear will definitely need one in it as well. It's off the bead on the back there. It's in rough shape. It's been sitting so long it's actually kinked it in there. So throw some gas in it. Let's see what we got. Alrighty, I've got gas in it, so let's see what we got. Alright, so I figured so. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take off the fuel solenoid here. And that'll let me take the bowl off, and we'll give it a check just with leaving the carb on the mower here. Usually when these things are sitting a while, they will gum up and not work right. So let me grab, because it's got fuel right there, so I know that's working. Let me grab some fuel pliers, pinch it off, and take that out and see what we got. So here's the carb bowl. It's pretty clean. And I'll show you what was happening. I don't think the needle in the float was stuck either. I think what the issue was is there may have been some sort of blockage in the fuel system that was preventing the gas, because now it's pouring gas, and off camera it was not. And all I did was wiggle the fuel line a little bit, so there might be a little bit of trash in the fuel line or something of that nature. So I confirmed that the switch is working here, as you can see. So it's not that. So let me put the bowl back on, put that switch back on, and see if it'll fire up for us. Alright, try number 2. Make sure it's not leaking. If I feel any leaks, and just to be safe, I'm going to wipe off that old fuel. Alright, let's do it. Backwards. Uh-oh. Forwards. No drive. It's because the deck belt's off of it. Hey, no backfiring either. That's good. The deck belt's off of it, so that's why it's not going anywhere. Let me put the deck belt on it and see if we can drive it a little bit. Alright, so I slid the drive belt back on. Let's see if she will crank back up for us. Oh yeah. Now let's see if we can go in reverse. Very slowly. It kind of sucks when you don't have steering. You just kind of go at the mercy of the mower. Let's see. Reverse. Yeah, that's like fourth or something. Fourth. Brakes are working. Reverse is a little on the slow side, mostly because I have a bad tire, I think. I might need a little adjustment. Or maybe I just need a deck belt on it because the darn thing's pretty loose. It's even third right there. It's going very fast. Alright, so we confirmed the transaxle works. I think it's just got a loose belt on it. Let me see if I can feel it down here. The belt's a little loose. The belt's a little loose on it. So I can see the pulley down through here. I can't really feel the pulley right there. Probably gonna need a drive belt. It also needs some tires inflated too, so that kind of adds to the mix. I'd like to see if the blades would turn too. That's kind of neutral right there though, because it runs. No, that is neutral. Got reverse on it too. It's just this tire right here. I could see it. It was spinning, but the tire controls. I think this tire was controlling it, and the wheel was actually going backwards, but the tire wasn't. So go figure on that. I might actually throw one of the tires on that wizard over there on this thing just for the time being, just so I can drive it around. But while it's here, let's see if the blades work. Blade brake, but Oh, this thing's got the issue that they all do. It's got the issue that they all do with the blades. There we go. I'd fix that too, but okay. We have a good running mower here. And it drives. We know that. Like I said, the wheel is moving back and forth here. What I might do is I might swap the wheel on it just to show you all that it drives around. Next order of business is figure out the steering, which means that the gas tank's going to have to come off, and I'm going to have to work around there just to see how bad it is. I hope I can shim it some way, somehow, because the gears aren't stripped on it. It's just got a bunch of play in it and whatnot. And it seems like, yeah, it's almost like it's missing a part. It's almost like it's missing a part there, or the shaft is off of the bushing, one of the two. So we're going to find out what the deal is with it. I don't know if the shaft is off the bushing, because you see how much play there is right there in that mechanism, and I don't think there's supposed to be any. Yeah, what's happening is there's so much tension on steering that it's popping itself out of place. And I'll show you all that. Let me swap wheels, and we will maybe drive this thing around the block, just to give you all a good end to part one here. Alright, so I'm in a little bit of a dilemma now. This gas tank's actually one of the larger gas tanks, and so it will not clear right here on the engine shroud. So what I'm going to try and do is take the engine shroud off, see if that'll give me enough room to get the gas tank out. If not, then I think one of the sides is going to be coming off here, which is not going to be an easy task. So let me see if I can take the shroud off, and hopefully that'll get me what I need to get the gas tank out, so that I can get this plate off, so that I can access the steering. And all it needs is an E-clamp and a couple of washers from looking at it. So hopefully that'll work for us. Alright, y'all, I got the gas tank off. Ended up having to take the engine cover off. And then there was a plate under the gas tank that was held on by 4 half-inch bolts. Take that plate off, and I was able to wrestle that gas tank out of here. So that's how I did that. Now I'm trying to find because what the issue is this is missing a washer, and it's missing a E-clamp. I got the E-clamp and I got a washer. Figuring out what washer fits best on it right now, and then once I figure that out, I'll put one on it. Just looking through my washer bin here just to see what all I got, and I'll determine the best washer for it, throw that on there, throw the E-clamp on there, and we'll see what we got. I think that should fix it. Hopefully the E-clamp doesn't pop off. I might throw a welder to it just to make sure that it stays on there. I'm not sure. If the E-clamp holds it, I'm not going to worry about using a welder on it. But yeah, so that's the next step here. Alright, so real quickly, I got the E-clamp in there. I don't know if I've already shown you all that. I traded some tires out so that I can actually have some that will inflate. That way I can drive it around, make sure that everything works correctly. Run out of time for today, but you can see the steering, it's working, which is a good thing. I will test it out quite a bit before I do deem it good, because I wasn't able to fit a washer in there, just the E-clamp. So I don't know if there's going to be too much stress on that E-clamp that'll pop it off or not. But it's working right now. I even got the wheel straight. That's a kind of a halfway of a miracle, to be honest with you. So for today, battery's about dead too. I'm going to clean up, call it a day. I'm going to pick this up at a later time. I will end part 1 with a running, cutting, driving, and steering riding mower. And then in part 2, we will address the issues that may be around, like the stuck blade engage, and potentially the drive belt if the drive belt's loose. If it's not slipping off after I drive it around and stuff, then I'll probably just leave it be. Probably needs a deck belt in the very least though. I'll catch y'all on another day when I have a little bit more time and this looks a little bit cleaner. Alright, so I'm in the process of putting this back together. The best way to go about putting it back together is, you see this metal plate here? The metal plate, the fuel line goes through the metal plate down over through to the fuel filter and onto the carburetor, to the fuel line. It's held on by these 4 half-inch bolts. It's easier to take the whole assembly with the gas tank out. The one thing you need to be careful of doing though is that where the nipple is on the gas tank, it's easy to bend it doing that, but it's a whole lot easier to feed the gas tank down there without the metal plate being bolted in and it already being kind of one assembly, because of how tight this gas tank is with the extra capacity on it with the motor here. As you saw, I had to take all the engine cover and stuff off to get it on there. One other little thing that I noticed is that overnight I had a little bit of fuel leak out of the seal where the anti-backfire solenoid was. And so what I did, I already threw the gasket away, but I found an O-ring. I'm going to see if the O-ring will fix that issue. Little Harbor Freight O-ring kits are coming in handy. Hopefully that will fix the issue with the gasket, and we'll continue on with putting it back together. I just wanted to show you all that's probably the best way to go about this if you have one of these extended gas tanks. But the engine cover and stuff's pretty straightforward. This one had actually a couple of brackets on it that went in the front and the back to separate the little beauty cover from the actual engine cover. So that's really the only difference. I'll go ahead and put all this back together off camera and put that anti-backfire back on, and we'll see how it runs. Alright, so it is back together now. It looks like I got my fuel leak fixed with that O-ring. I'm not seeing any sort of seepage or drippage or anything like that. I put a new fuel line. I didn't worry about this piece right here because it's actually kind of wedged on. It's not leaking, and I just had a bad feeling because I, trying to tug on it and having this carburetor with this plastic piece on it is just not. I don't like tugging on them plastic pieces because they tend to leak pretty easily if you do. And the fuel line's not leaking, so I didn't worry about that. I did the one from the tank to the, I put a shutoff valve on all the gravity-fed ride mowers that come through here. So from there to there, and from there to the fuel filter. Fuel filter seems to be good. So what we're going to do, I put the deck belt and stuff back on it, so I was going to take y'all for a drive, make sure this thing drives, since I have a decent tire on it now. They are 2 different sizes on the back, so all 4 tires are going to need tubes. I mean, it's not a given, but that's the way it happens sometimes. So 4 tires for tubes is going to be coming up in part 2. Part 2 is also going to consist of, I think I'm going to take this seat off because the seat is in pretty bad shape. I'll show y'all in part 2 how bad it is. I am going to replace it with the Craftsman seat. It's on this Wizard though, because I don't know if I'm going to be working on this one yet or not. This might be a fun little project on down the road. But this seat's in much better shape. Just that little crack on the top there. So I'll probably put that seat on this mower as well. Tubes, deck belt, deck leveling, make sure it's good. So yeah, I think that's it. Let me see if I can crank this thing up, and we'll hopefully take it for a spin here. Playing hard to crank, so let me investigate that a little bit, because I wasn't doing that yesterday, and I'll catch up with y'all in just a second, just to make sure that all the connections and stuff are good, and yeah, I'll catch back up with y'all in just a second. Alright, so it turns out it was being a little temperamental. I got it to crank and run, but however, I think the I got issues with the O-ring, gasket, and all that good stuff with the bowl here. So I'm going to take this off. I've got another solenoid here, which I just put somewhere, that has a better gasket on it. I'm going to put that on there and see if that fixes it. I thought that O-ring would work. I'm going to check the bowl while I've got it off as well, because it seems like the bottom of the bowl is just leaking a little bit as well. And then I will catch back up with y'all. Alright, so here's that old one. It looks like it chewed the O-ring out of this one as well. So I'll toss the O-ring. What I've done is to eliminate all variables. I had a junk carburetor that you see right here that's all corroded and rusted. I took the carb bowl off of that, albeit it was a little bit rusted on the inside. I wanted to eliminate the fact that this one might have a tiny pinhole in it, because I saw some on the residue on the bottom of the carburetor too, and I'm not sure. So I have put a new carb bowl, or that carb bowl, on it after I cleaned it out. And I put a new solenoid, anti-backfire solenoid that works. I found a 1/2-inch wrench and I grinded it down, because you have to do that in order to get in there to it. Grind it down just enough. I had to work on it a little bit more. I just wanted to see if I could get this thing to crank and run for us. Transaction's good. It's just real easy too. Let's see how the brakes are on it. Pretty good for a Craftsman. Sounds like it's running a little on the fast side, but I'm not quite sure. Blades? Oh yeah. have any leakage going on around the solenoid? Oh, no, doesn't look like it. Hopefully it doesn't backfire when we turn it off here. Okay, the anti-backfire is working too. Alright, I don't know what it was doing there earlier with the key. It just didn't seem like it wanted to crank over very easily. As you can see, it's running, cutting. Part 2, might have jumped the belt. I'm not sure. That belt's really, really loose on it. Part 2, we're gonna throw some tire tubes in it. We're gonna put the seat on it, and we'll do a final the belt. We'll do the final test mow on it as well. I appreciate y'all watching as always. If you want to keep up with me on Instagram and Facebook, it's at Ellis Mowers 09, and that'll be kind of real-time updates. Like I said, I film ahead of when y'all see it, so it's about a month behind of when I actually got the mower done and sold. So thank y'all again. I'll catch y'all on part 2 of this video, and we'll also address this mulching plate here too. If I can get this mulching plate to where it works pretty well, then I'll probably just leave it on there, because that'll be a easier and more cost-effective solution than putting something else on it. I don't know what that is. We'll take that off too. It's a tire getter is what it is. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all on part 2, and hopefully we'll round this thing up.